Hi, you guys. So, I had absolutely no plans or intentions of doing this at all today, especially when it comes to Facebook. I actually have my TikTok that I do my little collective tarot readings for. And on occasion, sometimes I post like advice or like card of the day kind of thing, which originally was the plan. Here, I was only going to pull from my Earth and Bone Oracle deck and get like a little bit of advice or whatever for like the collective today, just to kind of help. And technically, I'm not even, I shouldn't even be doing this. Like, I had no plans of doing this at all today. I'm actually supposed to be asleep because I work tonight, um, for mandatory overtime, of course. And I don't know, like, some of the cards like were, I don't know, like I felt like there was a story behind it, or there was something more to dig into, because like some of the cards, like the way that the story is together for the Oracle deck, it just didn't completely match up. And I'm like, okay, there's something else. Like there's something more that I need to gain from this. I'm like, I need context. Basically, I just need a little bit more context from what Spirit is trying to say for the message, so that I could really get it out as most accurate as possible. So when it's for a person or like somebody, like when it's like a self journey thing and not about like other people, not finding out tea, things like that, and it's like a self-love, self-journey, self-healing kind of thing, which I see here. What it is, I kind of pull from my Cozy Witch tarot deck, which is like these cards. And these cards are very sweet. They're very sugar coated, I guess is the best way to explain it. So like for here, like the Nine of Wands, usually the Nine of Wands is kind of like a rough card. For like the traditional decks and stuff, it's a little bit on the rougher side for its interpretation. But here it's like it would take a hell of a lot more to defeat you. So it's like encouraging, kind of like sugar coated kind of messages, or they're very sweet, self-loving, gentle types of messages. So I pulled from that deck, but I'm like, okay, there's something else. Like there's something more. Like I'm not, like it wasn't clicking for me, I guess. And I just felt called to pull my unfiltered deck. My truth, I call them my truth cards. Like when you have to hear the raw, unfiltered, blunt truth about something, or there's a blunt message and Spirit's like, hey, like, let's cut the bullshit. Like, I'm not, beating around the bush with this shit. Like, I'm going to be for real. Like, you need to hear this damn message. This is legit. And it's like a rush, I guess. Like the energy is like, it needs to get out. I use my Midnight Magic mushroom deck, and they're, I'm not saying like they're not nice, but because obviously they're nice artwork and stuff, but I mean like they're pretty blunt with these messages. They're really just straight flat out like, hey, quit the shit, or you're fucking up, or this and that. There's no sugarcoating it. So anywho, gone a little bit too far in the explanation, and I did write everything down because like I said, I really was not trying to do this. I didn't have my intentions, but I was just so digging into it. So anywho, here's the message. So the first cards that had came out was like the Portal, which is originality, idealism, and progression. The second was Shadow, wholeness, integration, repressed emotions. The third was Faith, hope, inspiration, rejuvenation. See how like they don't kind of like fully make sense or like fully tell the story. And then on the bottom, which for me, bottoms of the decks are like the overall theme or the overall energy, or like the truth, like the hidden truth, or like the hidden energy that's like in the subconscious kind of thing. And so the main energy is the Stand, which is courage, determination, and fearlessness. So from there, I got with the Portal, it's transitioning into a new timeline, or a phase, or a cycle in your life at this time. Shadow, it ties into the portal card, which is like you're integrating something into your life, or like some new changes, or you may be holding back some kind of emotions or truths. But for me, I feel like it's like you're stepping into like a new timeline. You're currently stepping into a new cycle or a new beginning. You're starting something new, or you may have the ideas of a new venture or a new direction, or even walking away from things, ending things. And that's why there's a portal here, that you're either standing before the door or you're in that like integration, or like that process of like going through this portal. And with the faith card, it's, you know, something that you're doing more based on intuition. It's like a leading by faith type of like, and it's weird because I know, like, you know, people with Christianity and who believe in God and everything, and I do, I believe in God, but like tying in this with tarot, like people are like, oh, like that's blasphemous or that's evil, whatever. Like I said, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Those who get it, who get it. But this is a specific message for somebody who does believe, but also is open to hearing these messages here from the tarot deck. So with the faith card, they told me leading by faith, not by sight. So that was the term that I was given by the faith card, that you're having this divine trust, or this divine knowing, this inner knowing, or this intuitive knowing of, you know, this new phase, or this new direction, this new idea, this new opportunity, you know, this new doorway, this new path that you're currently being called to or being led towards. With the bottom of the deck, with the stand card, that you're currently finding your feet again, or you're gaining some type of new motivation or new momentum. You know, a lot with the spring energy, this eclipse energy with the blood moon eclipse, you know, it's a lot of pretty heavy energy. It's a lot of, you know, pretty heavy feelings and emotions and desires, but also the truth. You know, what it is that it's meant to make you realize truths on some things that you probably weren't ready to come to terms with, or truths that you didn't fully realize, and that now, like with this heavy energy, it's allowed you to see the bigger picture, about what you do want, what you don't want, which way do you want to go, which way you don't want to go, type of thing. And so with that faith card is that, you know, you're just having like this inner pull, like you're having this like a pull, you know, like from like your heart chakra or like your chest, like you're feeling pulled or led towards something. And it's, you know, like that term, you know, leading by faith and not by sight, you know, that you're just listening to that intuition, you're listening to that inner voice or that inner knowing that there's this new direction or this new path that you're supposed to take. Now, with these cards, I pulled from, of course, like the witch deck first, which was like the Queen of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, the Page of Wands, Ace of Cups, the Hermit, the Ace of Swords in reverse, and then the Nine of Wands. And I think the Nine of Wands was reversed. And then on the bottom of the deck, which is the Ten of Wands, which was why I made things so much more difficult than they need to be. So for me, what I got from that message is overthinking at first, you know, that you feel like you're feeling like whatever new direction that you're taking, whatever new thing that's going or coming into your life or new opportunity, that there's some type of sacrifice that needs to be made, or that you're overthinking, you know, feeling like it has to be this or it has to be that, this or that you can't have both. But the pull or this urge or this desire, you know, of this new idea or this new direction, this new door that's, you know, being brought towards you, is outweighing your overthinking, because you might unconsciously fear at this time, with the, where is it? Where's my card? Oh yeah. So with the Page of Wands here, that you might also have like this overthinking of fear in your mind, that, you know, you're fearing of what could come from it. Like, what if it is successful, you know, in the work or the responsibility or the changes, the new sacrifices, you know, the rearranging of your life, you know, and anybody around you, you know, kids, family, whatever, that it might end up pulling in, you know, and involving, you know, like, hey, like I'm going to go towards this, but it's going to require me to move, or it's going to require me to let go of certain people. It's going to require me to change my schedule completely, that I have to figure out, how am I going to take my kids here? How am I going to do this for that? How am I going to blah, blah, blah? What about these bills? It might not be as much money to start off. Do I have enough saved? That kind of thing. It's just really kind of like it's in your head. That has you overthinking what this decision or new direction could bring. But at the same time, you still cannot let go of this call to still go forward. It's a decision that you're keeping to yourself at this time, or it's going to be one that's going to require leaving someone or something behind. So you haven't fully been out in the open about it. This is just something that's budding, like a new seed that's barely begun to bud, barely beginning to grow. You're barely starting to water it. And it's new. It's like barely blossoming and flowering, what they're showing me, like a little leaf, barely coming out of the soil. So this is something completely new for you, a new direction, a new idea, a new thought, a new change. And it could be romantic, it could be relationship wise, it could be non-friendship, family, it could be job wise, a business venture, even just within yourself, a new way of thinking, a new perspective, a new decision, something new that you're wanting to get into. And you're keeping it to yourself right now. You have not really discussed this with other people, and if you have, it's been maybe like 1 or 2 people at most. But it could also be a decision that is gonna feel like you're gonna have to prepare yourself for before you actually put into action. So for instance, like if you're planning on leaving a job, or or leaving a person, romantic or not, it doesn't have to be, or leaving certain people, friendships, circles, whatever behind, and that you don't want this out in the open just yet, because you don't want like shit to hit the fan, or like drama or unnecessary fighting, arguments to ensue. So you're just kind of keeping it more on the down low. And also for like the haters, the people who like might get jealous, that you might have a lot of jealous eyes over you, or judgmental people that are always like putting you down or making you feel very negative and saying like, oh no, like she's not going to do it, or he's not going to do it, like they're not going to make it, they're not going to be successful, or you're going to have a hard time with this, or blah blah blah, that kind of thing. So you're just kind of really just being really, really just secretive about it. Like you're really just keeping it to yourself at this time. And it's like a preparation thing too. Like if it comes to like leaving somebody, that you're wanting to like first get like all your ducks in a row. Like you're like, no, I want to get this in order and get this in order and this before I move forward, before I make the leap to leave, or before I make the leap into this new change. And at this time, there are some outside forces that could be causing a delay or a pause to this new idea or direction, which I hear for the 4 of Swords in reverse, and then the Ace of Swords in reverse. So these were the reversals that came out. And for me, they showed me that this was like the same connection, the same meeting with this new direction that you're wanting to go towards, that there could be something from the outside that's causing a delay or a pause right now at this time. And that right now you're being called to re-examine new pathways. Spirit is wanting you to reevaluate everything, relook at the entire picture right now at this time. They want you to re-examine it, because one certain pathway that you had intentions or thought that you could go through, or direction or options, Spirit is saying that there are others. There are other options. There's not just one to get you to the same result, or the same thing, that your goal or your intention, but that there are other smaller ones that you have yet to actually fully looked at as possibilities, or that you have even seen just yet. And that there's a lot of mental blocks going on right now because of some of these outside influences that are causing doubts. Old ways of thinking, old perspectives. Doesn't just have to be people. Old upbringings, old traumas, things like that. That it's currently coming up for you right now, which has to do a lot of like with the shadow work, with this new like change, this new idealism, that's kind of like bringing a lot of old things up to the surface for you. Old traumas, old triggers, things like that, that you need to heal on, you need to work on first, before you can truly see that you're not stuck. You're not stuck, because with the 8 of Swords here at the bottom of the deck, here, as you can see, oh shit, sorry, the Eight of Swords here, which was at the bottom of my mushroom deck. This is what Spirit's telling me. You need to address the burnout now. So you may already be overthinking like the amount of work, or that you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be so tired. I'm going to be so, this or that. They want you to address that now in order to avoid the inevitable exhaustion, or possibly even like permanent stagnation. Spirit wants you to take a step back at this time, to look within, and you need to focus on self-care. So start pre-planning, pre-planning days of rest, of days off, of days, just for yourself. And it could be like anything, literally anything, but just a break from it, or make plans, to where you do have that day off, you do have that break. Because if not, with whatever this new venture is, it is going to cause some exhaustion and burnout, because it is going to take a lot of work. It is going to take a lot of changes, a lot of requirement, and requiring of your time. And so Spirit is wanting you to prepare for it now, rather than, actually experiencing it and going through that burnout, and then you become stagnant, then you become stuck, then you become demotivated, and that you no longer want to move forward, and then it just becomes like a failure, that it fails or something like this. Spirit is saying that there is some type of mental trauma or a physical injury or some kind of health issue that you could be experiencing at this time, that's kind of like holding you back from moving things forward. Spirit wants you to get out of your head. There's so much overthinking going on, and it's really fogging up your intuition, to where you're knowing what right direction to go, what direction to avoid, like you're in your inner knowing, your intuition. Like you feel this pull, but you're like, okay, what is it? Like, where am I supposed to go? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, where do I start? And that's that. In order to know or to understand, you have to listen to your intuition. You have to have that clear voice. And I feel like with this overthinking of like, well, what about this and what about that and blah 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 and this and that and these people and that person, and this family, my kids, blah blah blah, changes, all of that is like creating like this fog around this portal. It's creating the fog, it's creating these branches that feel like, like the vines that are going over, that you feel like maybe you can't get to that door, or you can't open up that door, you cannot go towards that new opportunity or that new change, or that new business venture, whatever it may be. And Spirit is wanting you to ground yourself. So really try to be more present, be in the moment, to get out of your head and really look at things from a different point of view, to where the overthinking cannot overcloud, I guess, like cloud up the intuition that you need, your intuition that you're going to need in order to take these new steps, or this new direction, go this new way, to know what to do, what your next steps are. And that Spirit is saying that once you release yourself from your overthinking, or your thoughts of like, I can't, or negative doubts of yourself, that it's going to make you realize that you're the only person, you're the only one who can actually get in your own way. So Spirit is wanting you to realize you're the only one, your self-limiting beliefs. So like, for instance, like with the swords, the Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords, the original Rider Waite is like a woman, and she's like tied up. And there's, with all the swords, and she's tied up, and she feels like she's stuck. She feels like she's restricted, and then she can't go anywhere. She's stuck. She can't move forward. She can't move out. She's just stuck in that time, in that space, in those feelings, in that predicament, in that situation, whatever it may be. And what she doesn't realize is that what's actually tied around her is toilet paper. That it's just, she can just break out of it anytime that she wants, when she chooses to, because she's literally the only person who's holding herself back. There's nobody else around her. There was nobody else holding chains. It's not metal, it's toilet paper. So Spirit is wanting me to let you know, with the Eight of Swords, that you are the only person who can get in your own way, despite outside influences, despite the other doubts or negativity, what other people might say or put in your head or make you feel, or even the obstacles of like changing your it could even be diet. Like diet was one thing that just literally just came into my head right now. So like changing your diet, like your health, changing your perspectives, you know, changing your job, changing your routine. And nobody else, no matter how it may look on, you know, the outside with the other people or the influences or what they say or do, that you are literally the only one who can stop this from happening. You're literally the only one who can stop it from being successful. You're literally the only one who can make yourself stuck and stagnant. That it's a mental thing over reality. It's mental, these mental blocks or mental restrictions, and you're like, this is pretty, I wouldn't say mean, but pretty unfiltered, but like your victim mentality. Spirit is saying that there's a victim mentality thing here too, that like, oh, I can't because I'm not meant to go for it, or just because this person says I'm dumb, or this person says I can't do it, or I suck at this, or blah blah blah, or it's a waste of money, blah blah blah, that, you know, maybe they're right and I can't do it, and you know, so it's not meant for me, it's never gonna happen, it's never meant to happen. That's victim mentality. For those who don't understand, if you're getting a little offended by this, if you made it this far. And Spirit is saying that you need to get out of that victim mentality. You need to stop that way of thinking and really just get out of your head and the overthinking, and basically like get out of your own way. So if all this stuff is coming in, these new opportunities, these new ideas, you're being pulled into this direction, but you're like, oh no, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I should. Should I? No, I don't want to. Or, you know, I can't. Like, it's just too much. It's going to be too much. It might take some money. It might take investment. It might take a lot of time. Like, I might not be able to pick up my kids from school every day. Somebody else is going to have to do it, or this and that. And, you know, like finding these excuses of why you can't, versus like, no, I'm going to get out of my own way and let things flow, and let it, allow it to happen if it's meant to happen. Like you're going, like you're like there's a stream, you know, they're showing me like there's a stream or a, you know, like when you're in the river, you know, and there you feel the flow of water with the river, and you're like trying to walk up against the flow of water, so it's making you very difficult to move because you're resisting this change, you're resisting this opportunity, you're resisting, you know, changes in your mentality, changes in your perspective, healing, growing, and Spirit is like, you need to stop that. You need to stop going against the flow, and what you need to do is like allow the current to carry you, allow yourself to be carried by the current, and it's going to lead you exactly where you want to go, where you need to go, and where you're meant to go. So, oh my God, it was a lot, but if you made it this far, then obviously this was meant for you. This is something you're meant to hear. But yeah, it's just Spirit told me I'm done. My eyes are getting droopy right now. My energy's pulling back. But yeah. So anywho, that is your message. You know, get out of your own way. Stop overthinking things, and just kind of like just go with the flow. Despite what anybody else says, whether anybody believes in you or not, like who the F cares, you know? It doesn't matter. What matters is what you think of yourself, how you believe in yourself, you know, because nobody can be you better than you. Nobody can do you better than you. Like nobody knows what's best for you better than you, you know, that kind of thing. Sorry. They told me to get a couple more cards. I don't know what else I need to say. Spirits, what else do you have? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So the bottom was embrace spirit. So like I said, you're probably like going against your intuition. You're going against this pull. For some of you, me going against your instincts, you know, be without malice. Know you belong, reveal your truth, and be vigilant. So my hand itches, so it could be something with money too, but like it's this, like I said, this mentality, you know, that you feel like maybe you don't belong, maybe it's not something that's meant for you. You know, Spirit is wanting you to embrace this, this change or this opportunity, this portal that you're being offered to go through, to not lose that motivation, you know, to have this courage to keep going forward. And courage, truly, the true definition of courage is doing something with fear anyways in your heart. You know, you may have the fear and the doubt still, but if you feel this intuitive call or you feel this pull towards this new direction, you know, do it anyways, you know, and reveal your truth, you know, speak your truth, but you can be without malice, meaning like if you do need to speak up to somebody or something about something, some kind of truth, and be like, hey, like these are the changes that are going to happen. This is what's going to happen, that you can do so, but you can do so with love. The same thing with setting your boundaries. They're saying you can still set your boundaries and be like, hey, you know what? I'm sharing this with you because I love you or I care about you or I want you a part of it, or because, you know, it's an idea I have and I want to tell you about it, but I don't need you to tell me anything negative no matter what. Like, I feel like this is the best decision for me. Like, kind of set boundaries. They're also telling me that there's somebody that you might have in your life currently at the time. It could even be like a parental figure that's always kind of putting like little seeds of doubt in your mind and being like, well, what if it's like this? What if it doesn't work? Or blah, 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 blah. You know, and it's like, don't allow those seeds to grow. Don't give them sunlight. Don't give them water. And to set your boundaries with that person, and be like, hey, you know what? Like, I appreciate that you're saying this out of love or out of concern, you know, or you feel or think that I might not be able to do it, but please don't tell me that. Don't put that in my mind. Like, I ask you to respect my decision, respect the direction that I want to go or this new opportunity. And you can either support me, you know, by my side, or you can doubt me from a distance, that kind of thing. But like, say it, like, you can tell, instead of like F off, you know, just be like, fuck off, like, you know, fuck you, like, don't tell me what to do, blah blah blah, you know, that kind of thing. Like, you don't have to be ugly about it, but that you could still set those boundaries with love and with kindness, you know, out of respect to yourself. You know, like, everybody has a reason for something, and we might not know. Like, it could just be their fear, like, I don't want them to be hurt, I don't want them to be disappointed, blah blah blah, kind of thing, you know, and it's just their deep concern and fear, you know, of for you or whatever, and that's why they're voicing those concerns, or, and, you know, putting those little seeds of doubt. But at the same time, they don't understand that it's actually harming you, and people don't know that sometimes. And so you got to set the record straight, and you got to set your boundaries. So anywho, that's done. I feel like I rambled, but it was a message. It was definitely a message that needed to be heard. So I hope that helps whoever needed to hear it at this time, whoever this was meant for. If it's not meant for nobody, then maybe it was meant for me, for all I freaking know. And I just happened to record it and share my business out with the world. I have no idea. But anywho, I hope you guys have a great day. And thank you for watching. Bye.